I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about how do I know if my ex still loves me and signs that they do. You want those signs. Everybody's ready. Like, I hope I got all these signs. Yeah. If I don't get these signs, that's it, I'm done. Well, one of the things that you have to understand when you're going through a breakup is there are often long periods of time where your ex shows no interest, that they don't show any signs, and it's just part of the process.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, but just because you don't see the signs right now does not mean that they can't change their mind and come back. It's so important to understand that, because time and time again, I see exes disappear for months at a time, sometimes years at a time. And we're not telling you to put your life on hold for years at a time. Right. Put that out there. But we see it. And it's important that you understand that even if they don't come back in a time frame that you're expecting or wanting, it doesn't mean that they won't come back at some point.
Exactly. So, of course, we don't have a crystal ball. It hasn't come from Amazon yet.
No.
But we can say that the power of attachment is incredibly impactful on a person's life. Love is something that is a driving force. It's the reason many empires have failed, and it has a huge impact on your life and your ex's life. That bond that you created together, that connection and intimacy, and really peeling down those layers of vulnerability, you don't do that with every person you see walking down the street. So we just want to emphasize that by saying, attachment is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I like what you said about that's why empires failed.
Absolutely.
And in the case of Star Wars, that's true.
There you go.
It was Darth Vader's love for his son that he threw the Emperor over the edge.
And it happened in Greek tragedy all the time. Right?
Margaret, can you maybe talk a little bit about the power of attachment so people really understand how it really does have this huge impact on us?
Well, remember, we say all of the time that we are wired to attach. And remember, we come into the world totally helpless. And we attach initially, we hope, to the people who take care of us. And it's really, when you're young, a matter of life and death, because if the people we're attached to don't take care of us, we can literally die. All right? And there are people who say love makes the world go round, which is absolutely true. Okay? And if you look at the quality of people's lives, it really is totally dependent on how they're able to attach to others. That's what gives life meaning and color and gives us goals and pleasure and all of those basic things. So there's nothing more powerful than attachment. Okay? And the fact that we are doing these presentations speaks to that.
Yeah. We see it time and time again. And, sometimes when a relationship isn't going well, or the person hasn't been happy, or their needs aren't being met for a given time, they just feel like, I can't live with this anymore.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they think about things and they realize maybe the things that they were upset about weren't as important, or they can be worked on, or they miss you a lot more than they realized, or life isn't as great as they thought it was going to be without you, they can reach out, they can come back, they can test the waters. And oftentimes they are afraid to do that, which is why they're more indirect in their approach. So what are the signs? Like, what are the specific behaviors you might see? Any thoughts?
So the first sign that we have is that they care for your well-being, that they do things after the breakup to make sure that you're okay. In fact, we had another video where we talked about commitment, And part of why people stay in relationships is because they're concerned about how you'll do after the breakup. So this is a genuine care about your emotional experience after the breakup. And of course, it could be tied to some guilt of, breaking up with somebody is hard and you know that you're hurting them on some level. But the fact that they feel that guilt is evidence of their love and care for you.
Right.
Sometimes an ex will be really concerned about you after a breakup. Now, a lot of times they're cold, but sometimes you'll see that they do something that shows some care or concern. It's tricky for them to do that because if you've been violating their boundaries and trying to force repairing it, it makes it harder for them to just reach out and check in on you, because you might bombard them or overwhelm them. You've maybe have, stalked them or repeatedly harassed them. And so it could be difficult for them to reach out and see if you're okay, even if they, really want to. It's just that we get so caught up in trying to force them to do what we want them to do that they don't feel safe enough to do that. But sometimes they will do little things to show that they're reaching out to you, they're checking in on you. Sometimes before the breakup, your ex might have been helping you with something. I've seen things where people had a lease on a house and they were trying to help you with that, or a car issue, or some kind of repair, and they want to continue to try and help you in that area because they care about you. And it's hard to feel like, well, how can this person care about me if they don't want to be with me? But they can care about you.
Absolutely.
Even if they don't want to be with you.
Another way that they could try to get information is by contacting friends and family to see how you're doing. They might have that boundary where they need that space to not talk to you directly, but they still might show concern for you through other people. So I know, Margaret, you always talk about this ubiquitous
Third party, yes. Let me say a little more about the ubiquitous third party. Ubiquitous may seem like a strange word. It means everywhere. And what I mean when I say that the ubiquitous third party is there's usually someone in your life who's willing to carry messages back and forth. It can be your ex's sister, cousin, mutual friend. There's usually somebody who's interested in carrying messages back and forth. And it's tempting, of course, because you're getting information about your loved one, but be careful, because sometimes the ubiquitous third party has an agenda. Sometimes they're passing information back and forth between the exes, and it can be a little tricky. So don't believe absolutely everything you hear, and don't encourage the third party to continue to do the activity.
Yeah, because it can cause some misinformation.
Absolutely.
They can misunderstand it, and anything that's not said direct, you to them to you, can lead to misinterpretation.
Absolutely, misinterpretations. And I think most of them mean well, others don't particularly.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah. Another way to know that your ex might care about you or have some signs that they're caring about you is what they do on social media. Sometimes they will post sad songs or pictures of them wearing your jewelry that you gave them, or an outfit you gave them. And, they don't have to do that. You know what I mean? They're doing it because they want you to see on some level. But it can mean that they do care about you. I had a guy a couple days ago that he sent his girlfriend a text that said, "I miss you," with a sad face. So she didn't reply to that. What she did is posted on social media, "I miss you," with the same emoji he put.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So she didn't reply to him, but it was literally the exact same thing.
Wow.
So it was meant for him, but I don't think he should have reached out to that because she didn't respond to his direct message.
Not directly, right.
Another thing you can see is if you had shared accounts, such as Netflix or Spotify, And I love this example because you don't even have to sneak or pry or try to look at their phone or hack into their account or anything. If you guys had a shared account, they have an understanding that you have access to whatever they watched, whatever they listened to. And so you kind of have free reign on that.
Spotify is a big one.
Yeah, especially if you had shared playlists. So you can see what kind of songs they added to that playlist, or, you know, if they're watching anything particularly emotional on Netflix.
Like the Hallmark Channel?
Yeah. So it could be useful information to see at least part of their mood, what types of media they're exposing themselves to, and what kind of emotionality is connected to that.
Breakups are very difficult, and they're very hard on the dumper as well. Even though they may not be showing you vulnerability, or that they're hurting, or that they're acting like they never really cared about you, it doesn't mean that that's true. Because, Margaret, when people are hurting like that, they don't want to think about it or feel it.
Right. So what do? Oftentimes they jump into a new relationship to feel better, causing the ex to say, how could they do that? How could they just forget about me and hook up with this other person? But oftentimes people do it to feel better, and it doesn't mean they never loved you. Because people will say, well, if that person broke up with me, it must mean they never loved me. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means they're hurting. Okay?
And another thing that people do quite often is confuse attraction for love. So yes, they might have lost attraction for you, but love is something that's built over time. It's that connection and that bond that you both formed. That's much harder to lose. And I think we were talking earlier, on some level, if you've connected with somebody to that degree, it's really hard to ever forget them.
Right.
Especially if you were together during formative years, you're figuring out love and life together. That's so impactful on your worldview and how you see things. And also, if they are with somebody else, once again, love takes time to build. They're just experiencing attraction for another person.
Right.
That doesn't mean that they have built this foundation that, you know, is minimizing your relationship with them or the relationship you had with them. So that's important to remember, that distinction between attraction and love.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that's hard to understand is that you can deeply love somebody or care about them, but get tired and turned off by their behaviors. And so you have to be cautious about behaving in unattractive ways, because when it happens too often, it makes the person feel disconnected from you, or if you're controlling, they want to push you away, they feel like they're being trapped or smothered. So it's so important that you learn attractive, healthy behaviors and minimizing the behaviors that are off-putting, because quite frankly, if it's just behaviors that turn them off over and over again, of course they're just going to say, I love you, I can't do this anymore. This is not working for me. We fight all the time. We don't enjoy each other's company anymore. We haven't spent really quality time together in a long time. All these things can make the attraction and that excitement and the fun go away from a relationship, to the point where the person's just like, you know, I've tried to tell you and you weren't listening, or maybe they didn't tell you because they don't communicate well. But it can all add up to the person feeling like, I really love you and I care about you, but I can't continue like this. The relationship wasn't working for me. I wasn't happy anymore, or whatever it might be.
Oftentimes we hear that one person will say to another, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. And it's a very common idea, and we hear it very frequently. And if you really stop to look at it, what it says is, I really care about you, but I've lost my attraction for you, at least temporarily. But I think, as Coach Vittoria points out, attraction can come and go. But the feelings of caring about someone are much more stable.
Yeah. It's a deeper feeling of, like, I love this person. I really love this person. I care about them. But this isn't working. You know, maybe they've told you for 2 years that they need something from you and you weren't willing to do it. And at the time you're like, I didn't know it was that important to them. It's so important to be able to tune into your partners and be on the same wavelength with them and know what their needs are and do your best to meet those needs, even if you don't have those same needs. I mean, so often we become caught up with, well, I don't like that thing. I don't like to go to concerts. You like to go to concerts, so why don't you go with your friends? And, you know, your partner is frustrated that you don't want to do that thing with them, and that might be a big part of their life. Whereas if you just made an effort to go sometimes, that would make a big difference for them, because it shows you care about my needs, going to the concert and having that connection, more than you and yourself of, I won't enjoy myself or have a good time.
Yeah.
You have to really make an effort to do the things your partner likes to do, at least sometimes. You know, go to the places they want to go. If they say, you know, they want to go to the beach all the time, and you're like, oh, I don't like the beach, I never want to go. Well, if they always wanted to go to the beach and you don't want to go with them, over time, that's going to wear down on them. And they're just going to be like, it's not so much about the beach as it's about your willingness to do something that they want to do and show them that you're going to give them what they need.
Right.
And those things are the behaviors that can mean the difference between somebody saying, you know, he doesn't go to the beach with me all the time, but he does go sometimes, and that makes me happy.
Right.
As opposed to, I've been asking you to go to the beach for the last 3 years, and you wouldn't go with me. And then you break up with them, and then they're like, I'll go to the beach. I'm packed. I'm wearing my bathing suit right now. Which is often what you guys want to do, and then that just makes them angry.
So here's the moral of the story. If you hear about something 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you better ask how important it is to your partner. If it keeps coming up, it's important.
Yeah.
And one thing that Esther Perel says, that I love this quote, she says, love is something that's cultivated. So it's something that you put energy in. And I think the same goes for that feeling of attraction, that it's something that can be worked on, and there's always something new that you can learn about your partner, something new and exciting and curious. So I think that's the difficult part, is keeping things exciting and fun and being attuned to your partner, like you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a high probability that you don't like everything that your partner does, and they don't like everything that you do. But you have to be willing to do those things, not because of the thing, but because it's something they enjoy, and that's how they want to spend their time, and that allows you to spend that time doing something fun together. So being able to identify this and know to do it in real time is real important, as opposed to looking back and saying, oh my gosh, now I would do these things. Now I'll go to that beach. Right. Now I'll go to the rock collecting convention.
Or the hamster show.
Exactly. So, you know, it's important to understand overall that if your partner fell in love with you and they had a commitment with you, there's a high probability that they still have some deep love for you and, you know, respect for you and genuine desire to see you happy. At this moment, they may not think that they can get back with you or get into that relationship again. But if you really make the changes and you really work hard on identifying the areas you struggled and figure out skills you can improve, when they come back again, you can show them the difference, and that's going to make a huge difference in them wanting to try again.
Agreed.
Right. Yep.
So hopefully you found this video helpful. Let us know in the comments below. And if there's any signs you think that we missed, or if you want us to cover this one again. Also, if you want to get our help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Of course, Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. And Coach Victoria will continue to be in the videos with us.
I'll be here.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.